Hi everyone and welcome to my personal awards for the 2021 to 2022 season. This video will be slightly different to the viewers awards. There is a couple more categories as you'd expect. Obviously it was me there physically experiencing it, whereas obviously for the viewers it's just what came out on the videos. But without further ado, let's get into this. And the first category is Game of the Season, which of course is a category that's going to be included within both videos. But in third place in mine, I went for the game I went to in Switzerland between Servette FC and FC Lugano, which resulted in a 2-2 draw. It was definitely the tale of VAR that night, but yeah, the real good game of football. It seems every time I go on to the continent, I'm always impressed by the football on display, and this was certainly no different. The Swiss League is certainly not one that should be underestimated by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, for me, this was well worth its place within the top three. And yeah, let's just have a little recap of that game.
Well, it's going to VAR. He's checking a possible handball here. Gotta say, when I watched it back, it did look a teensy bit contentious at least. So it'll be interesting to see what he does here. Lugano got a penalty. Check VAR for the Lugano one, he's surely got to check it for that one as well. The Servette players are adamant. He's going over to check VAR again. Total deja vu this. What's going to be? He's given two penalties given this game, both by VAR. Bell nowhere really in terms of how it's looking for diving. They've been chucked around. I'm not happy with that in this stand. He's checking VAR again. Wow. See, is he going to give it a penalty for a third time? Let's see. He's given a penalty. Wow. Looks like there are 6 minutes of added time in this game.
So my runner-up for this year's game of the season, we are casting our minds back to September and the National League North game between Southport and Gateshead. This was maybe early signs of what this team could actually do, and it resulted in a 3-3 draw, but we obviously came back from 3-1 down, and if it wasn't for the Southport keeper, I think you'd probably have to say that we would have won that game. Then, of course, there was the infamous Lancaster Services incident after that game, but in terms of the match itself, it was thoroughly entertaining, and I'd say an excellent advert for the National League North. Let's have a look back now at how I reacted to Gateshead's last-minute equaliser.
Go on!
Went a bit off the Richter scale there, didn't I? But anyway, your winner for this year's game of the season is a game that only took place a few weeks ago, and it is the Subsidiary Cup semi-final between Wynyard Village and the Bishop Auckland 11, which Wynyard ran out 3-2 winners. It just had everything, didn't it? The ridiculous and the extraordinary, really. Obviously, Bishops were really good in the first half. Went 1-0 ahead through an absolute beauty. Then there should have been 2-0 ahead, let's be honest. It was the most bizarre goal, I think. It was the most bizarre disallowed goal I think there's possibly ever been across football. I mean, it clearly and obviously went in, but the referee decided not to give it then. But then they did get 2-0 ahead in the second half, but Wynyard weren't prepared to just let them go to the final. They really showed up in the last 20 minutes and so managed to pull it round and pick up a brilliant for them, but maybe slightly controversial 3-2 win. Let's have a recap now of the story of that night.
Well, which year was that? Oh, it's gone in! Oh, there's controversy here. What's going on here?
Yeah, he's good. He's giving it. But you have to be winning.
You don't get this kind of drama on Sky Sports. And it's not been given.
Good. Goal.
Chance. Game on.
Oh, red. Oh, ten. Oh!
It's in! Can you believe this? Oh, it's in! Unbelievable.
Exactly what you said.
Absolutely unbelievable. And I tell you what, there are going to be inquests from Bishops about this.
So moving on now from games to goals, and in third place for my goal of the season this year, I decided to go for this.
It's in! What a free kick! Unbelievable! What a strike!
Some might say that was the catalyst for Scarborough really going on and having a run to promotion in the second half of the season. Obviously, that particular game against Morpeth just after Christmas, and it wasn't the best of days. It looked as though they were heading for a 1-0 home defeat, but that free kick just came out of nowhere and from the angle as well. I mean, I didn't even film him kicking the ball because I just assumed he was going to cross it in. I mean, if anything, I was sort of hoping that the goalkeeper was going to go and head it in or something like that. But yeah, unbelievable bit of technique there, and I'd say well worth its place in the top three. But in second place for goal of the season, I went for this. Oh.
Oh, what a goal! Nice goal.
Quite sensational solo effort there, and the finish itself wasn't too bad either there by Adam Shanks of Whitley Bay in this game against Redcar Athletic back in November. We've got to remember Whitley Bay are actually 2-0 down at one point in this game, and this was the goal to put them 3-2 ahead. And if you're going to turn a game around, you might as well do it in style, might you? And yeah, they certainly did that here. I mean, picking a goal of the season wasn't easy for me this year because there was that many good ones, and so many of them could have also easily made it into the top three. But for goal of the season for 2021 to 2022, I decided to go for this.
Oh, what a hit! Wow.
So yeah, a goal that I've probably spoken about plenty of times, and one that didn't even win its vote for goal of the month, but it was Brian Johnson for Jarrow in their local derby against Bolden. For me, it was I just couldn't believe what I was seeing at the time, and I think my reaction at the end, where I just paused for a bit, then said, "Wow," sort of told you everything you needed to know, really. I mean, the fact is just took 2 steps back and absolutely walloped it into the corner. I mean, the keeper didn't even move him. To be honest, I think even if he did dive, I don't think he was getting there anyway. So yeah, an unbelievable goal. I mean, Jarrow actually lost that game on the night, but there can be absolutely, for me, this was a definite winner for goal of the season for me. Anyway, rapidly moving on, and now we are going to discuss team of the season. And in third place for team of the season, I decided to go for, like, bear in mind, for team of the season, I have to base it off teams that I've seen more than once, just so it is a bit more fair. And in third place, I decided to go for Mask United. And the reason for this is I thought they really gave Gates had a really good test in the FA Cup. Obviously, we put them out in the end, but in the first game against them at their place, they could have so easily beaten us in that game, especially in the second half when they really started to get on top. And but for a great save by Jacob Chapman, like could so easily have won it at the end. And they weren't too shabby at the International Stadium either, if we're being truthful. I think it was just a case of the extra fitness and quality probably showed on the night. But yeah, then as well, there was obviously I saw them beat Worksop in the league, which wasn't an easy game for them that night by any stretch. Let's not beat about the bush there. And I know they obviously got beat off Gisborough in the semi-final of North Ryan Senior Cup, which was a disappointing night for them. But you have to say, when I saw them in the playoff semi-final against Shildon, they really came good that night. Much the better team on the night, and deservedly won and performed when it mattered the most. And of course, in my absence, they went and beat Stockton in the final. So yeah, in third place is Mask United, and let's have a look back at their winner in the playoff semi-final.
Oh, it's in!
Yes!
I think it's Jason Kennedy.
So in second place is a team that didn't win any cups or promotions or anything this year, but always made a pretty good impression whenever I've seen them, and that is Easington Colliery. I always sort of joke that because of their record, especially on this channel, whenever I've seen them, that they're going to be offering me free season tickets and free away travel to all the matches. But yeah, as I say, I've always been really impressed with them, and this season was no different. I think I saw them 3 times in the end, the first of which being that Derby Day victory against Horden, which they really did perform well that night. The second of which against FC Hartlepool in the Durham Challenge Cup, a game they were probably expected to win anyway, but still, again, with the overall display, they'd made a good impression. And the last one maybe not a classic, but a 1-0 win against Jarrow in the Ernest Armstrong Memorial Cup. I think they will be strong next year. I just think this year, in the end, Carlisle City and Heaton Staddington were a bit too strong for the rest of the league, but I think they'll certainly be in a title race next season. Anyway, let's have a look back now at that Derby Day victory for them over Hordern.
Oh, that is a great goal, that is class, that, like 2 days notice. Oh!
And the team of the season, I know it's biased, but you can't look past Gateshead, can you? League champions, FA Cup run, it just tells you everything you need to know, really, doesn't it? So many great memories for me as a fan, and it was probably, and the thing is as well, like whenever I went around watching us, there was so many opposition fans told me that they were really impressed with how we played, etc. And at the end, there was very few could argue with us going on and winning the division. So yeah, I mean, I try to be as impartial as possible when it comes to these awards, but I think, yeah, there can be no arguments about Gateshead getting it this year. Anyway, now let's have a look back at what, in my opinion, was the performance of the season, which was a 4-0 win against Kidderminster Harriers at the International Stadium. So next up is my favourite visited ground. This is sort of a category in your awards, but for me, I've kept it pretty strict in that I'm only allowed to count grounds that I hadn't visited before this season. So without further ado, let's get into this. And in third place, I've gone for the last ground that I visited this season, which is Newton Grange Star, where obviously I saw the East of Scotland League Cup final at the weekend between Linlithgow Rose and Trinent Juniors. I was just really impressed with the overall setup on the day. Obviously, everything about the ground was pretty good. Like, it had quite a modern feel to it, but it was well maintained. Obviously, the main stand they've got there was pretty good. So yeah, I'd probably say it's well worth its place in the top 3, and it is certainly one I'd recommend to anyone to visit. So let's have a look back. Let's have a look now at some of the some of the images or some of the videos I took from that day.
A new one off the list. It's a neat setup, this mind. Really picked a good one to end on.
In second place is a ground I went to in March that I was pleasantly surprised about, and that is the Jakeman's Community Stadium, the home of Boston United. Now, I was a bit sceptical about going to this one, actually, because obviously it's maybe safe to say with the away end at York's new ground, I maybe didn't have the best of experiences. I mean, the rest of the ground at York's fine, but the away end I'm really not a fan of. But Boston, on the other hand, I thought it was a pretty nice overall setup. Yeah, I think, like, new builds, split opinion, it's probably safe to say, but for me, this was one that I just really did enjoy visiting. So let's have a look now at some of the shots I took that day.
Yeah, then, a new one off the list.
And in first place, well, it's obviously the Stanks, isn't it? I know I know I might have the ground up in police on my case for this one for calling it ground, but yeah, it is certainly a unique place to watch football, sort of around the Berwick Town walls, and yeah, it's just like, it is certainly something I'd highly recommend to anyone. The tournament is still going on; it doesn't end for a good month and a bit yet, so there's still plenty of time this summer to get yourselves there. But if not, then the tournament will be back next summer when you'll have more than enough chances once again. So yeah, it absolutely has to be the Stanks for me. It was a great place to go, sort of at the back end of this season. Yeah, let's have a look at some of the shots I got from there.
It's been coming for a while.
Now, it wouldn't be ground hopping without trying the food, would it? And the next category is, of course, the food award, which is probably my personal favourite category, if I'm totally honest with you. Not that I'm greedy or anything, but yeah, it's always good to get out there and sample what each club has to offer. And I think this year I've got a pretty worthy top three, and in third place it goes to a burger that I tried at Leamington. Now this probably, you'd have to say, was probably about the only good thing that happened that night, because it was a disappointing performance and result by Gateshead down there, and yeah, just maybe wasn't my finest matchday experience of all time, but the burger, yeah, absolutely spot on, and it's certainly something I'd go back to Leamington for if we get drawn against them in the FA Cup or the FA Trophy next season, and it's certainly one that definitely deserves a recommendation. But second place, I went for a pie and peas that I tried at a ground that's featured quite regularly on the channel, but not for quite a while, and that is at Pickering Town. Really is good. Like, Pickering have absolutely nailed it with the food this year, and this pie was certainly no different, and it's something that I'm very much looking forward to tucking into when I get around to going again next season. But the winner for this season is the macaroni pie that I tried at Newton Grange on Sunday, and I know it's obviously still quite fresh in my mind, so that might have played a part, but I don't think it did. Like, I think when I've sort of done these sort of internally in the past, like, I think like most of the time, like, it's been won by something I tried in like September or something like that. But I think in terms of the food, I certainly saved the best until last. So yeah, Newton Grange are this year's food award winners. Now, moving on to the next category, which is my personal favourite video, and in third place I went for the video I did at Whitby Town versus Scarborough Athletic back in October. Now, it was always, as I mentioned in that video, like a game that had been on my radar for quite some time, and I absolutely love going to Whitby. I'm going to make no hidden secret about that. Like, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know I'm always doing #announce Whitby away before every announcement of pre-season fixtures and before every cup draw that Gateshead go into as well. But this was probably my favourite trip to Whitby that I've done. It was a really good night, and I think I did okay with this video, to be fair. And I know this award's a bit, like, it's a bit of an ego trip really, but I think in terms of overall video content and that, like, it has to be in the top three. Anyway, let's have a look back at that video.
Kicking off now, bit of a flying challenge.
In second place was the FA Cup replay between Altrincham and Gateshead. Now, like, I just feel as though with this one I was able to capture the overall sort of feeling of what that night meant pretty well. Obviously, didn't quite get the Langstaff's winner on camera too brilliantly, but I certainly got the reaction and what it meant at the time. Obviously, I went absolutely mental. But then obviously it sort of then popped into my head that we still had quite a few minutes to see out, so so that's when I maybe went a bit, started screaming a bit for us to stay switched on, but all out full time and things like that. It was just a really fun night, and obviously all like 70 of us in that little stand at half time singing Yes Sir I Can Boogie was good fun. So let's have a look back at firstly the Heed fan singing Yes Sir I Can Boogie, then the reaction to the last minute winner.
But I will give you one more chance.
Oh, yes sir, I can boogie, but I need a certain song. I can boogie, boogie. Yeah! Switched on! Rest of the slip now! And the winner is, of course, the last game that Gateshead played this season, which was the day we picked up the National League North trophy against Hereford FC. Now, I wanted to make this video special, and it's something that I personally now can look back at in years to come and just reminisce about what a truly unbelievable day it was. And it's something I hope other Gateshead fans can as well. Obviously, made it an interactive one, sort of chatting to fans, getting their perspective on it, which was really good. And yeah, it helped. Like, obviously we won the game as well, which was really good. And was able to include a bit of a season highlights reel. Yeah, it just all seemed to click the way I sort of hoped it would, really. And I think for me, it certainly has to be my favourite of the season. No, it's not the most viewed or anything like that, but for me, it's certainly the one that means the most. Let's have a look back now at the glorious moment that Greg Ollie lifted the National League North trophy. So that's all we've got time for. I'm just going to say it now. The voting for your awards will close on Saturday morning. So this is your last chance to get your votes in. Any votes that come in after 11 o'clock on Saturday won't be taken into consideration. Obviously, the vote for goal of the season is up on Twitter, and that will be included within that video. And we're currently in the process of the final 4 goal of the season at the minute, so head on over to my Twitter if you want to cast your vote. It's going to be a close one. It's 3 absolute beauties in the final, so yeah, that is that for this video, and I'll be back on Saturday with your awards, which will be the last official video for the 2021-22 season before I change everything over, before I go on a couple of weeks break. Then everything will change into 2022 to 23 mode. But until Saturday, take care, and I will see you later.